What's up, everybody? This is episode 16 of the Pitside Podcast. I'm here with my good friend Roger Craig. Tonight we're going to talk to G-Force racing driver Connor Ross. We're going to discuss the recently completed Elite Shootout, and we have yet another division to announce. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Pitside Podcast, where we discuss the latest news and developments in the G-Force Racing League, as well as other racing news inside and out of iRacing. Now here's your hosts, the A-Lit Outlaw, Preston Cranmer, and Roger, the Bassman Craig.
Hey everybody, so welcome back. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. By the time you see this, Christmas is over. So I think we got a pretty good show here tonight. We got a great interview coming up and a few good topics to talk about.
Yeah, it's definitely been a interesting week. I think personally, I haven't had the best racing week of my iRacing career, but overall, it's been some good shows. We finished up the Elite Shootout, so my understanding is we have tabulated most of the results. I think there's some checking we have to do, so we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But I know we also talked to Connor Ross. If anybody isn't aware, we've probably figured out by now. We typically do our interviews first. Roger and I film these late into the evening pretty frequently, so we try to get our guests in and out so we don't keep them up all night. So we talked to Connor Ross a few minutes ago and recorded a good interview with him. So I think we probably ought to just jump over and talk to Connor now.
And we're here tonight with a very special guest, Connor Ross. Connor's been with us right from the early days and got a big track history with Ashweek, and so welcome, Connor.
Thank you for having me on board. It's a pleasure to be on here.
Yeah, you're much more gracious than your dad. But I got to say, it's funny seeing Connor there because that backdrop is the backdrop we see weekly on Rivals Race Chat. It's the same room where your dad sits, except the dog's not walking around the back of your head yet. So we'll stay tuned and see if that happens.
He was Connor, actually.
Was he?
Yeah.
So Connor's been with us since the very beginning. I think the very first races Connor was with us. So it's good to have him on for sure.
Yeah, Connor was with us before we figured out we could change usernames, and he showed up as Adam Ross in several races.
Yeah. And then I wasn't going to mention it, but a couple of races he showed up as Daddy's Money because there was a joke on Rivals about that, and so
I do remember that.
It showed up like that. Yeah, that was kind of funny.
Actually, kind of funny about that nickname. I wasn't fond of it at first, and then it grew on me. I just started chuckling about it. Now I'll make fun of myself about it on Facebook comments once in a while.
Yeah, you just got to lean into it.
Yeah.
So you're racing in all the I think in all of our A divisions. And,
most.
You just got off the track tonight because we were recording on Wednesday night. And how'd you do in the street stocks? Because it looked like you were doing pretty good at one point.
We, as a team, Gambler Motorsports, we came in there and we were a bit behind on the ball just going in there, and we were all talking about it where we could gain, and we weren't as fast as we usually are. Let's just say that. Out of the gates in Q, we all kind of started out at the back, but we all made our way up. John and Steven both were up in the top 10, I want to say, and me and Daniel Vaught were in the back, but we were having our own battle. So, I mean, I ended up getting... Go ahead, sorry.
You're talking about Steven Speeds, right? We got so many Steves.
Yeah, my bad.
Yep, yeah.
I think midway, it was the last 10 laps. There was a lot of traffic, and I got loose, and I kind of got shoved down pit road. So I kind of had a speeding penalty, so I just pulled it in and kind of got ready for the Elite Shootout race.
Yeah, and that was there was some great races. It was at Lernerville, so there was actually I'm thinking more than usual guys going off the track, especially in turns 3 and 4.
Oh, especially. I mean, and I was in the Discord. Daniel left, but even John was in there. He's like, holy crap, there's like 4 guys going off. I said, it's just survival kind of. The top side's fast, but there's that much attack there. So
No, it's that fine edge.
yeah.
Yeah, and being the last race of the shootout, I'm sure guys were pushing a little extra hard to try to make sure they were up as far as they could. So I'm sure that sent people over the edge.
Yeah, it did, but I mean, it caused for good racing. Like, there was that inside groove that was pretty tacky, but you had your wing all the way in the trunk, so it was kind of hard to get down there, but you really wanted to hit it on the exit so you get that run. Whereas the people on the outside, it kind of will equal out with their slickness where you get the run on the exit with the tack on the inside.
So, I might as well bring it up because it's going to get brought up. The hat looks familiar.
Yeah, well, I bought it at a racetrack off Thompson Photography. They do amazing photos in Canada and some in the States before the border closed. But I wore this and their hoodie when you brought my dad and I out fishing for a fishing trip at the cottage, and I wore it. It was my lucky hat and my lucky hoodie because I outfished the bass man himself, and he's a local legend. And I mean, I outfished him. I can't be proud. I mean, I am super proud. Sorry.
So I have to tell you how much crap Roger caught about that from our team. Because he was a little quiet about it at first. We were asking him how fishing was going, and he sent a picture of you with the fish, big fish, and we were like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then he claims he didn't have service. I think he was actually brooding a little bit, but yeah, and once we found out, I think maybe you might have told one of us that you outfished him, or it came up somehow, and Roger has still not talked about it a whole lot. I think he's laughing about it now, but that might be a facade. I think he's still pretty upset.
It hurts him deep down.
Yeah.
And I think John Hine told you.
That's what it was.
I knew I told the group chat, I said, I outfished Roger. He's like, oh, I'll have to chirp him in the review chat or something like that. I was like, go for it.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
I should have warned Connor before we started this interview that you better say all kind of things because I still got his fishing rod in the basement. So,
That's true. And you were attaching my lures for me, so I mean, you were a nice enough guy to give me the nice lures and the good lures. And the bait.
tied knots that weren't going to break. Yes.
Yeah.
And they did. No,
at least early in the trip.
Yeah, unlike next time we go, if there is next time. I mean, I don't think he'll invite me. Maybe my dad. Maybe not though.
It was a real good time, and but it was tough. It was tough fishing, and your
cold.
dad. So you it was cold. That's right. It was cold, and your dad was. I didn't realize until two how bad he wanted to catch a fish because he had the big donut the first day, and but he came out and he was pretty excited when he finally got. He hadn't caught a fish like that. I think he said since he was a kid or something. So I
think he said he was around my age. I think he said he was 16 or 15, and the whole way up, he's like, if I'm going down there, I better catch a fish, and I'm not leaving until I am. And even after the first day, he's like, Roger, we're getting up super early in the morning. I'm catching that fish, or I'm not leaving.
I was trying to get up, especially it was cold in hell. I wanted to, give the sun a few hours to warm it up, and Adam wanted to get out there right away. So
anyway, he was like, when's the prime fishing time? And Roger's like, well, do you want to know when a true fisherman would go? And I'm like, here we go. It's going to be 6 in the morning, or 5. We got to get up at 5. And I'll wake up early, but 5 is that's a bit. And then my dad's like, okay, we'll get up 6. And I think we went out at 8. I think he realized that it was a bit too chilly.
But I was up early. I was putting the game face on, and it's been 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it's no problem anymore. I'm a fair weather fisherman. But anyways, next time we'll get on fish, buddy. We'll go to my secret lake.
All right. You said you had 4 secret lakes. I swear you took us to every secret lake. You got more?
No.
He's been holding out on you. Now that you outfished him in his first secret lake, he's got to find another one where he knows the holes.
Yeah.
So, okay, we can talk about that all night long. Being on the water with somebody is the best quality time you could ask for sure, and
learn a lot more about them too.
Yes, absolutely. You'll learn more about somebody an hour in a boat than you will.
That's probably why Penny Lee won't go fishing with me anymore.
There you go.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Whoa.
But But that trip wasn't the biggest thing that happened to you this summer. Maybe the second biggest. I don't know. But you had the real world experience. Tell us about it.
Yeah. Well, John Carley, he races a Canadian Vintage Modified, and my dad used to. So they're old school cars, vintage cars, and he always said, I'll let you test drive my car, just in a practice. Once you're taller than me, And I was about 12 or 11. I was always bugging him every night that I'd see him. Hey, when am I going to get to test your car? I kind of forgot about that. And then he had an old bus that he'd take the truck, or the car, the trailer, he'd tow the trailer with it. And it was a little sleeper bus. It was kind of a party bus as well. And they were getting rid of it, so my dad's like, yeah, we'll just go look at it. Why not? For fun. I said, okay, and then we didn't go, and I remember on Facebook, I seen that he sold it and he got rid of it, and I was iRacing. It might have been with the G-Force League. My dad's like, "Come, let's go. We're going to go." I said, no, I don't really want to. He said, no, you should. I said, no. He's like, we'll go to your spot. We'll go eat after, wherever you want. I said, okay, perfect. And we got there, and there was a car unloaded. I was looking, and I was like, oh, it's a nice car. Like, it was a fast car in that division, too, so I was like, oh. And then he's like, get in it. And I tried to get in like a regular late model. You would feet first, and then found out that's not how you do it. So I had to go head first, sat in it. It was fit perfect. He's like, well, you look good in it. I said, yeah, it's comfortable. He's like, well, get ready for the 25th. You're going to drive it. I looked at him, and my dad's over there in the car with the camera. So I was like, okay. Well, actually, he had the camera out first, and I could kind of see what was happening. So I kind of had a hint, but I was dumb enough to kind of forget. So I had the opportunity to do that, so I had knowledge on working on the car, getting it ready, and we had practice sessions, and we came out there, and my dad's like, don't run it hard, and we had a plan that I'd barely hit full throttle. I just want to get my braking and everything marks down, and by the end of the session, I was only a few tenths off, maybe 4 tenths, 5 tenths. For the first time in the car, I thought that was pretty good. So I felt really comfortable. And then when it came to race day, the bugs hit me. And then we were going out for practice, and I had the champion behind me. He's won a bunch of races, so that was our plan, was get him behind me, let him by, and follow him. He got by me really quick, more than I was expecting, so we were going down the front stretch, just second lap of practice, and right as I was going to get to brake, a huge puff of smoke came out, and I didn't really know. There were so many things going on in my head, so I hit the brakes, turned it a bit, let my hands off the wheel so I didn't break my wrist or thumbs, and put it in the wall. So did that my second lap of practice in a race day, and then we got it out, and I didn't really look. I just said to my dad, I said, well, that's going to be expensive. And he's like, well, have you seen that? I said, no, not really. And I looked over, and in the motor there's just like a massive hole. And I said, oh, I see what the problem is. And there was just straight through the motor. I was like, damn. And then that was exciting, but then I thought I was done, but my dad and John scrapped together another motor. We had to not rebuild, but we had to build the front end back together. We took it all out, built it back, and the second race day is not something I'd like to remember about. It was just constant problems, but I mean, it's what happens when you have a race car, and it's not like iRacing when you have a network issue. It's a lot of issues, but it was fun.
It's not like iRacing where you hit the reset button.
Yeah.
No, I learned that the hard way too.
Yeah. That's awesome. I remember we did a post in the lounge, and I so wanted to post a picture of you with your feet sticking out the window with your dad had posted that somewhere, and I wanted to, but I thought I'd be kind. But I could only imagine trying to get in those things, because
it was difficult, but I think I haven't mastered it at all. Actually, I shouldn't say that, but it's tricky.
So needless to say, you're going to be back next season.
Yep, my dad, John, and I have been in the shop every Wednesday, stripping the car down, and now we're looking at the chassis, and then really looking at the car, and we're thinking about getting a new chassis. We don't know yet, so we're planning to be running that car next year, though, 100%.
So you're running a full season?
Now that's the thing. With COVID, they only had 3 races last year. I only made it out to 2, but John wants to do a 16 race season, so that's going to be depending on COVID as well. And my dad might be touring with the late model division announcing, so I'm only going to race if he's free because I'd rather bond with him over that. So I'd go to his races where he's got to announce, and when he's not announcing, I simply will race. But we're going to try and hit most of the races.
You're talking about the Pinty series up here,
no,
the big
APC.
series?
APC. I think G-Force is going to do it again, what they did last year. Not too sure. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that, but
Okay, so we didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, so
We only
but
get
that's cool.
you like 100 viewers a week, so it'll be fine.
Yeah. If you're to put us on the other side, on the G4 side, we might get enough viewers that would be controversial. But
I'll have to share
it. But no, and we get why we're in the esports side because we're doing like 5 and 6 races a week, and they've got thousands of subscribers that not all of them want to keep getting notified every night, once or twice that okay, there's iRacing, and this person doesn't even care about iRacing.
I didn't realize that how many divisions there actually were. Like, I knew that there were the sprint cars, the new modifieds, dirts, late models. Do you guys still run the late? Yeah, you guys do, because you have 2 divisions for that now. And I think I seen a post where it's 19 divisions. Like, oh, but then I thought of it: 3 dirt modifieds, 4 sprint cars, 2 dirt late model. You guys have done a heck of a job.
Yeah, and then we've got matinee races now every day, right? Monday to Friday we have.
I love those.
They're so chilled out.
And they're picking up a lot of competitors now. Like, there's a full field the last few times I've been in there. It's good.
Yeah, some of it's the time of year because people are off
that's
work,
true.
But...
Next week, so people are watching this on Sunday, and there's tons of people that are either in Ontario. It's a lockdown, so they're going to be around. A lot of people are going to be home, and a lot of people get off, like Preston will be off next week. So there's a lot of people. Join us in the afternoons, folks, because it's some of the, for me, it's the best racing. It's just it's more laid back. Nobody's getting their underwear or not, and it's pretty cool.
Everybody keep it on the trailer. I want to have a chance to win, so you guys stay on home, enjoy time with your family. I'll see you in the evening.
Yeah, like you said, Roger, it's a lot more relaxed, and it's not as stressful as because you're not going for a transfer spot to transfer to B to the A. This one's just one race, and I like it. But like you said, I've been racing a bunch of official races, and I've been finding a lot more guys now because it's the holidays, and a lot have been over the mic saying, I'm not working, this is all that I'm doing. So it's like you're definitely going to get more guys now.
So do you find that when you're running officials, you end up running into do you run dirt more often than not when you're running officials?
Yes, unless I run a pavement race and I get the safety rating down, and then my dad kind of kicks me in the butt and says, hey, go gain that back. So I kind of have to. But I run dirt more than I do asphalt, yes. And I think I know where you're going. I do run into a lot of them. Like
the league guys. It happens to me all the time. It's like, and part of it's probably because we run similar times.
Yeah.
It's like, but yeah, you go into a session, and part of it is also that we have just a massive number of people in our league. But
they go from D to A, so
yeah, it's a rare occasion that I'll jump in an official and not run into at least 1 or 2 people from our league. It's crazy.
I think I ran 3 that Jeff Flaro was in.
Yeah.
And I think he was the only one that I recognized. But I've been in a lot of races, even hosted races. Like that name catches your eye.
So do you find that you prefer the sprint cars over the other dirt cars?
Yes, and the only reason is I'm not going to say I'm good, but I'm also not bad. And I've had a tendency that I'm finding that every other dirt car that I jump in, I'm driving like a sprint car. And I think I found my problem when I jump into those cars, that there's not a big wing, so I probably shouldn't. But the big block modifieds I found are the hardest to drive.
I agree.
Yeah, because you're in the A division then, are you?
Yeah.
Last
weekend I just missed a grid. I didn't even grid. They didn't put me in a race, so I joined. I joined a bit late. I joined a bit late, so they didn't put me in a race. So that sucked. But I find that you can't drive those cars hard at all, and you kind of have to like underdrive them and not be so hard. But they're fun.
Yeah, I've said it before, but I've never been a huge fan of the dirt modifieds, and but after I've driven them, I can't wait for them to come back to Ashweekend because like I've got a whole new appreciation for those cars now. It's been fun. So
The only thing I don't like about them is under pace laps. Those cars are like I've gained about 4x just from like I'm not even on the gas, so I'm going in a straight line. Next thing you know, I'm ramping off the wall. It's like whoa.
I know, yeah. They're looser and
I think you're going to see iRacing patch that because I don't think that was intended. I think
No.
if you watch it, the reason they're doing that, you can watch the front suspension and the shocks will collapse entirely. It's not like a gradual thing. The shocks will collapse and then open back up, and it's just jerking the car all over the place. I think it's a bug they haven't quite figured out yet. It's not horrible, but it's a pain in the tail.
I found like
So
go ahead, Roger. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I've been like when I talk to the modified guys, they've all been saying that it's like exactly the same. Not exactly, obviously there are some differences, but it's pretty similar, which is actually kind of cool because when I got in those, I thought they were going to drive like a late model. I thought iRacing was kind of going to mess it up and make them drive like a late model, but I'm glad that they're pretty realistic.
Well, and we might have talked about this last week, but the thing I noticed, and I have no real world dirt racing experience at all, but I can even tell the difference where you can feel the suspension, right? You go in and you make some adjustments to the shocks and you soften them up, and you can actually feel them get soft to where the other cars, it's not obvious. And so they nailed that. The feel of the car is different, at least. I can't say it's realistic, but it's different. You feel it wheel hop through the corners if you get too far sideways. The car, you can feel it roll. You know, they did a good job, and it's part of the reason why they're so much fun. Even though the big blocks, to me, I agree with you, are extremely difficult. I love the 358s. They're underpowered. I mean, that's the thing. But it feels good to drive the car at least.
Yeah. I don't know how true this is, but I was talking to Travis Miller. He runs with G-Force. I don't think he's been in there a lot, but because Monday nights and Bignell both run Monday night leagues with G-Force and Bignell both run Mondays. But I was saying to him, I said, "Well, what did they mess up?" He said, he said that power wise, the 358s are more horsepower towards sportsmen, and the big blocks are more towards the 358s. That's what he told. I don't know how true that is, but
I could see that though.
Yeah, exactly. But they're still so much fun. Go ahead, sorry.
Roger might have another question, but I'm going to go ahead and put you on the spot like I do all the drivers in our league. So, now, and you run a bunch of divisions with us, so you can answer for whichever one. But out of everybody in our league, who would you say is your biggest rival? And it could be personal, like because of incidents, or just somebody you find on the track near you.
Me and Ludovic Basson have been we've been hitting each other lately. I'm not gonna lie, but there are so many good drivers that one night you won't be close to them, another night you'll be side by side for 15 laps. It's the talent in the G-Force leagues are unreal. Like. Yeah. You guys definitely have the car counts, but even when he didn't, the talent was unreal. Like, I've been finding that you can race in some divisions, side by side with the guy for 15 laps. Especially if you've raced side by side with him more than once. Yeah, you guys kind of just gain that, what's the word I'm trying to look for? It's just, there's similarities. You know what they're going to do and what they're not going to do, which really helps.
Yeah. And I think we've seen this season more three wide racing like without incidents.
Yeah, and even tonight, like there was 3 wide, and there might have been incidents, but it wasn't. I probably shouldn't use tonight as an example. I probably should have used a different night, but there are some nights where 3 wide, and then I'll put Steven Goldner on the spot. He'll start at the rear of the field, and you're driving and you're pushing as hard as you can. It's like, damn, if only I had some more. Like, I'm not doing that bad. And then you see Steven Goldner just fly by your inside, throw a slider line, and next thing you know, he's battling for the lead. It's like, oh my god. But Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say I completely agree with you. I've been passed by Steven Goldner multiple times too, so I know the feeling. But I think we've, for one, the league has improved from the start as a whole. But I can speak for me individually. I think we have a good environment for guys to improve themselves too. Like if you go and look at my I rating from when I started G-Force to now, it was pretty level, and then like a month or two after I started G-Force, I just started climbing, and we just have a good space to get better, and some of that is just the car counts help because we've tiered things the right way, so you're competing with guys about your skill level for the most part. I think that all tends to help, but it's a good environment. It's for the most part pretty comfortable. Tempers flare, like they would at a regular track.
Exactly.
But it's a lot of fun, and we see you out there all the time. And I did want to ask, how did you end up hooking up with Gambler? I think they were kind of had formed when you joined the team, right?
So originally it was me, Jordan Hack, Garrett Pepiot, John Hine on Parabellum Motorsports. Then we picked up Aiden Young, and then there was some people that were weren't respecting it, and I didn't want to be associated with this, so I stepped out. John and Aiden then created a team John created it, but Aiden they were like a duo, so he went with them, and Aiden's been great too. And then John just gave me that opportunity. Roger and John were talking about it, and I would have joined Gambler no matter what. I like John Hine. He's a great guy. He's helped me so much, so I knew that I was going to go with them. And Aiden Young, he's improved a lot for his second year of dirt. And then we picked up Steven Spice, and then we just recently picked up Daniel Vaught.
Yeah.
But that's how I got in with Gambler.
Gotcha. Okay. I didn't remember you being with Parabellum. It must have been a fairly short stint.
Yes, it was. It was for the last half of that was Parabellum was around.
Gotcha.
So the question for you, because you were in Elite last year season, and you're in Elite again this season, but you work on your car on Wednesday nights. So how is that going to play out?
Well, I was telling my dad, he's like, it's Wednesday night. I said, how long are we going to go for? What do we got to do? He's like, well, we got to do this, this, and this. I said, maybe we can do it a bit quicker. I got to get a race, but we're at the point where the car's fully stripped and there's nothing we got to do to it. So I'm able to run Wednesday nights now.
Well, the other advantage, too, is your dad goes to bed early, right? He's
in bed now. He was in bed. He was watching my race from in bed. I said, aren't we gonna play cards after? He's like, I'm going to bed. I said, so no cards? He said, like I said, I'm going to bed and I'll watch your races. Yeah. Okay.
That's funny.
Yeah, that is funny. But he's had another question, and I don't know where it went. Son of a gun. But you're going to ask a question, Preston, about the umpire stuff.
Oh yeah, so I know you've been running Empire, not Umpire.
Oh, I was like, somehow he knew I umpired baseball. I was like, whoa, this really.
I said Empire, didn't I?
You said Umpire.
I heard Umpire. Yeah.
Empire.
Maybe it's that
Empire.
It's that Canadian accent that Connor and I aren't used to. So I know you've been running Empire Super Sprints. I only know that because I did a couple of updates for you on your paint, but I've been keeping up with it at least a little bit. How's that been going for you? I know there's some big names in there.
Oh, well, we got Lance DeWeese, who's won at Williams Grove how many times? Like, he's one of the best in PA. He's up there with the PA posse. Bryce Bailey, who's been setting the dirt world on fire for iRacing. Bobby Hackle, even like upstate New York guys who come out. Frankie Caprera. There's some really great names. Steven Goldner, Kevin Loveys. And we're around number 6 last week in Evolution. The first 4 weeks, I made the show every race, and it was awesome. And then Lernerville struck, and now I'm on a cold streak. But then we went to Volusia last Tuesday, so 2 days ago, or yesterday. What day is it? Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
Qualified 30. I can't qualify to save my life. other than Cedar Lake. I don't know why I said Cedar Creek, but Cedar Lake I qualified like 6th. So that was the only good time I qualified, but I qualified 30th, 30-ish yesterday. Started, I want to say 8. I started dead last for my heat, and then made it up to a transfer spot, which, I mean, I'll take it. And then coming to the green, stepped on it, and I didn't realize the track was that slick. I thought I could have full throttled it, and I got really loose and tried to keep it together, but then just a chain reaction happened from behind me, so I got out on lap number 1. But other than that, it's been great. Like, the competition level is off the charts, and it's helped me so much. Same with going back to that G-Force when you guys were talking about talent. Like, that's helped me so much. Not even talking to people. Obviously, talking to people helps, but even just watching guys run their lines, that, I don't know if that's helped for you guys, but I mean, even watching just people run and going into the ring cars for replays, listen to throttle control, that's also helped me a lot. But that's what I do for Empire, and it's helped me a lot. And also just racing around guys like John Tranka, Joe Tranka, guys who have real-world experience. It's helped me a lot, like I said.
So how much longer does that division or that league run?
I know we have Williams Grove next Tuesday. Then we go to Oxford Plains in a 305. So they switched it up because they do run Quebec in real life pavement. They go to a pavement track in Quebec. I forget what it's called. But they run one pavement race. I don't know if they did it 2 years ago or not, but so they're going to go there in a 305. And then I know we still have Weed Sport, so that's at least 3 more weekends. I think there's 2 other ones, so It might be 6 more to go. 5, I'm not too sure.
Gotcha. Well, we'll definitely be pulling for you, and especially when you get back to the real track. I can't remember if it was you or somebody else. I was laughing. It was just kind of this like sense of pride, right? You're a G-Force guy. You've been with us since the beginning, and to go and see you get in a real car. It's kind of, just like Lane and Tanner, It's fun to pull for you guys, and because you guys are young in your careers, so.
Well, especially Tanner. I remember watching the Super Short Track Series. I said, Dad, do you know who Tanner is? Well, I've heard about him. I said, he runs in Rogers League, G-Force. Like, really? I said, look out for him. And then Orange County Fairgrounds, sorry, and then he won the big race, which is awesome because he's going to be an up-and-coming talent, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
When you're no, I don't even think he's 13.
Not even 13 yet.
12.
Isn't he? Okay, he is 12, but like just for I know my one good friend Trayton Lapsovich, where he was 11 and he won the mini stock championship at Sunset Speedway, and Sunset Speedway is good. Like, they got a ton of good drivers, and when you're 11 and you can come in there and win a championship against like 40-year-olds, you got a good career. And the same with Tanner. Like, he's gonna have a great career.
Yep.
Yeah, sure, for sure.
Well, Connor,
I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're gonna let you go here, and I think we're gonna try to squeeze in another interview here before Roger and I start waxing on for the rest of the evening. But we appreciate you coming out. You're welcome back anytime. We enjoy racing with you, and we look forward to seeing you out the rest of the season.
Thank you guys so much. I'd be glad to come back on. It was a pleasure talking to you guys for the 30 minutes, I think, or whatever it was. I think we went 5 minutes over the timeline, or 10. But no, it was awesome to talk to you guys.
Yeah, and you said some nice things about me fishing. So next time we're at the Burger Barn, the burger's on me, buddy.
Perfect. I mean, I might be on a diet. I might be on a diet soon after this quarantine. Holy,
I know. We don't want to talk about that.
The dad bod's fully engaged now. It's bad. But thank you guys for having me on. It's a pleasure. Absolutely. I can't wait to race with you guys again.
Yeah, it's been great. I don't get to race with you too much because I'm in lower divisions, but it's still great to see you on the track.
Yeah, it is fun.
I'll see you in the matinee races.
Yeah, we'll do. I'll be on tomorrow.
Okay, great.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, see you guys.
And that was a great talk with with Connor. Great kid. I spent a few days, like you said, on a boat with him, and you really get to know somebody intimately, really sharing that time on the water, and just a real cool kid, and have to get him back on the games, and especially next summer after when his outdoor career comes back to life. And anyways, he's a good kid, and he can take a joke, and it was good having him on for sure.
So
and a good racer.
How old is Connor? I didn't want to ask
him.
He's still 16.
He's 16.
Okay.
Yeah, he might be 17 now. I'm not sure, but he was 16.
So I've obviously seen like videos from him last year at the track, and I've talked to him through Facebook several times because I do some of his raps and such. But I never could get a good gauge of how old he was. He looks younger, 16, 18, somewhere in there, but he's just so polite and so well spoken. Like when you talk to him, at least like in Facebook. So I wasn't real sure, but I didn't want to ask him and put him on the spot. So
no, Dad should be proud. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny, the dog walking around just like he does during the Rivals race chat.
Yeah.
But So and speaking of ages and all that stuff, I had 2 weeks ago. I asked everybody what they thought the average age was, and then I posted something. You guys were guessing. And I posted it out today on the lounge that the average age of the league is 38. So we have a mature crowd, and I think that's demonstrated in the in the driving, and we don't get a lot of the call-outs and all that sort of stuff that you get in officials because there's not as many kids in there.
Yeah. So I remember when we were talking about this, and I purposely did not vote in that poll because we had talked about it previously, and I thought I knew, but I really thought when we talked about it before that we said the average age was 27. But maybe I'm just misremembering or something. I don't know. So
if you want to get into statistics, it's the average is 38. The median is 37. So it's in around there. And I just had a birthday, and a few other guys have too. So I'm sure we've driven the age up a little bit here. So it's probably closer to 38 now.
Yeah. Well, so that was another thing that I was looking at, and I'm not calling anybody out specifically, but I saw that there was a major spike. Like, so you see as the ages go up and, it's getting closer to 70, there's less and less. And then between 70 and 75, it's like it rockets back up. How do we explain this?
Guys got more time on there.
Is it do all of those guys know each other? Like, are they in the same home or?
Well, part of it is, there's Gary Taylor, my neighbor. Gary's I think 74 now. John Rayner, who was playing racquetball with Gary, and was a sim racer, and got him on iRacing, and he's 70. So that would be it. Dave Flick's out there, and he's like 75, I think.
Is he?
74. Yeah, and he's still competitive. Like, there's nights when I get frustrated. I'm thinking, like, hold on a minute. I'm 70 years old. Like, my reactions can't be like a Tanner Van Doren or a Lane Snook. Like, it is what it is. It's just it came too late in my life to even think about being competitive. So.
Yeah, those other guys you were mentioning, I wasn't sure. I think I know when Gary's birthday is, but I don't think I realized how that whether he was over 70 or not. I can't remember if I knew that or not. But anyway, I just thought it was funny. It made me think because I knew you just had a birthday and you would have fallen in that category. I know you stopped counting a while ago, but So I just thought it was funny because there is that spike, and I figured it was a couple of them that you guys knew from
actually.
Up there.
Speaking of birthdays, between the time we're recording this and the time the podcast is put out, you're going to have a birthday.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I'll be turning.
I'm surprised your name's not Noel.
I'm surprised what?
Your name is not Noel.
I don't know what that means.
Noel, like Joya Noel.
Understood. I thought you said my name is not in the well. I didn't know what that meant.
Oh.
It's that accent. It's been messing me up all evening. Yeah. No, so the running joke when I was younger, they called me the Grinch for a little while, mainly around Christmas because I tried to steal Christmas. Obviously, I should have mentioned my birthday is actually on Christmas.
Yeah, on Christmas. We
so
didn't really say that yet.
so the story goes that my parents got up Christmas morning. I was born a couple of weeks early, I think it was. And so they got up and they went around and were doing the regular thing. And I guess Mom was starting to go into labor, and they went over to my grandparents, and then they left and just drove to the hospital. Like, it was no big deal. So I was born in the evening on Christmas 21 years ago. Or something like that.
21 years.
Yeah, something like that. I stopped counting too. Yeah, so anyway.
You can double your age and you still haven't caught me, buddy.
That's not true.
So.
Oh, yes, it is true. Never mind. I'm doing bad math. I'm doing bad math.
Bad math. So bad.
Yeah, so
simple math.
So never really made a whole lot of big deal out of my birthday. So we don't need to do that here either. But yeah, I did either, depending on if you're recording this or watching this, I either am about to have a birthday or just had one. So
yeah.
But yeah.
So we're both birthday boys, just Reese's birthday boys.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, lots happening in the league still, like all sorts of stuff. Some amazing racing going on. But I guess the first one we should talk about is we just finished the last shootout, the elite shootout, and we've got 5 new qualifiers. I know Donovan Ross messaged me earlier today saying like, how many points can a guy get in a night? Because he's done 3 races. And he was eligible, and I think he was worried about losing up his position. And in all honesty, Donovan should be there. Donovan is a quality racer that should be in elite. But I mean, he's going to earn his way. So he showed up again tonight, but and finished first overall. So Donovan is congratulations, Donovan. Whatever you gave up tonight, the social occasion was worth it because you made elite. And a new guy, Jason Randolph. Now I haven't checked Jason's. He showed up for at least 3 of the races. I haven't checked his iRating, but we've just had a few new guys come in. I'm telling you, I'll get to that in a minute. Maybe a controversial one, Ludo Buisson. So Ludo, he's another 16-year-old, great kid, but fast, but not necessarily. He needs to be more careful. So Ludo, if you're watching this, you need to be careful. Guys are aware of you. So you're back in. Kudos to that, but you got to keep that IL down, buddy. And Keith Jackson, another guy that definitely should be there. So it's good to see Keith in the division. And then we had to go down. It was the top 5 that weren't already in elite, because the elite guys could run this series. And if we go down to, and we were only going to go down to like P10, because after that, I mean, but Greg Boydell, congratulations, Greg. Greg is the 5th one to come in. So Greg will be running the Elite Series this year. So instead of getting 101 races, he may be getting about 110 in this season. So that's something we want to talk to him about when we finally get him on. So there's that. Do you want me to keep on rambling here? Or,
No. Well, I just wanted to mention I had actually gone and looked at the results when we were trying to kind of tabulate those and make sure we were looking at the right people. And one thing I noticed is the ILs were really good.
They were.
It was impressive. I think compared to our, now granted the stakes were a little bit different last time we did this because there were so many positions open, and that made a little bit of a difference. But last time I think the majority of guys were up around 2 at least, and everybody just about. I think Greg might have been the only one that was over, but he was still well within the threshold. And everybody else was under 2, and there were some guys that were, I think, borderline under 1. So that's very promising, and I think that's probably what we promised early on, is that as we took over the elite from the G-Force guys, that we would start dialing that in and cleaning it up like we did. Not that it wasn't clean before, but we were starting from scratch, really, right? And so that's always a concern, is making sure the quality of racing is good. And I think we're on the right track. It'll still take some time, and where
Yep.
everybody's still getting used to bull rings, and to some extent you never will, in my opinion. But it's getting better, and I thought that was encouraging.
Yep, and I said from the beginning, it's going to take us 3 seasons before we're really. So this is our starting our second. And on that note, like, we're seeing guys coming into the league now. The league is morphing. There's a guy, Michael Meeks, won the shootout tonight. New guy, and I think his I rating is like 5,000 or 6,000. So, and there's a few guys joined up with the street stock division with really high I ratings. So I think we're going to see, the quality of racers, and those guys, they'll need to learn right off. You don't run over guys in this league. You'll pay a price for that, and if they can't keep their IL down, they won't be around. But I didn't see, from what I've seen, the guys coming in are high quality. It's only going to get better. Like Brandon Schultz is going to get challenged here, so he won't be able to take any weeks off, or anything. He's going to have to have his A game coming. So I'm pretty excited about the elite division. I think it's going to be much stronger, and it's only going to get more, stronger still. So, and like I said, so the street stocks. I want to talk about the street stocks for a bit, because I was kind of taking a night off. Took the last couple nights off. I've been going so hard, but I was watching a broadcast. So the street stocks, the feature, top 3 positions, Shaws. So Steve Shaw Sr., Steve Shaw Jr., and I think it was Todd. Might have been Rob. I don't know. It was one of them. But the father and 2 sons in there. I thought that was very cool.
I'm sorry. What division was that? The B division or the A division?
No, the A. They're all in the A division.
Oh, okay. I saw the picture and didn't recognize some of the paints. Didn't realize that it was all Shaws. That's hilarious.
Well, no, that's the start of the race.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Start of the race, but then the end of the race. I think it was. I think I heard that Steve Jr. when he was interviewed. The top 5 positions were all the new Supreme street stock. So that they're assembling quite a team, and I know I approved a few guys coming in the league with some pretty high I rating. I think a bunch of those guys that were in that top, they're new. They came in through the B division, transferred, and so they're gonna be a bonus to the league. So yeah, it's the quality's getting better. I think overall we're seeing less cautions. Really, even like the Raiders, I think they only had like 1 or 2 cautions the other night. I think they maybe only had like 3 in the first 2 races or something. So the quality, especially like in the lower. God,
I tried to mute my mic before it happened, and I couldn't get it done. I couldn't get it done.
You don't want to do that in the grocery store. They'll have me out of there so fast. It won't be funny. But anyways, yeah. So it's really it's really looking encouraging for this coming season. And again, this is Sunday. A lot of people home this week, and hopefully we'll see the matinee races with even bigger numbers. We have some really great fun races in those divisions in the afternoon. I think we'll talk about that with Connor, actually.
Yeah, well, you know what was another surprise this week, and it was a good surprise, was Roadrunners. So whether you consider that this week or last week, we had 34 cars come out. I think 31 started the race. We had a few guys that got in and I guess weren't maybe not comfortable or connection issues or something. I'm not sure, but I mean that's probably our highest number we've had, except for maybe one race in the first season, one of the early ones. But yeah,
we were close to that.
Yeah, so I couldn't remember if we had surpassed that or not. But anyway, it was a good start to the season. For anybody that's not familiar, we have updated the points format for that as well. So when we originally started Roadrunners, it was a true F1 style point system where it paid out for the top 10 positions. Well, we started growing over 20, where there was less guys scoring points than not scoring points. So we had adjusted that out to pay down to 20, and so we were kind of talking about it, and we want to keep the car counts at 34 or more. So we decided to go ahead and pay out points from top to bottom. So we've adjusted that format a little bit. The winners and the podium positions are still weighted, but not weighted to the same extent that they were before either. So, if you finish on the podium, you're still getting some extra points there, but it's not, 20, or I guess it was like 10 extra points. Maybe it was 8 or 7, something like that. Anyway, it's in the past now, so we don't have to remember. But that'll make it a little bit more competitive too for our Constructors Championship. So, much to the dismay of Rafferty, the guys finishing, third and fourth can still compete for the Constructors Championship, and he won't be able to run away with it. So, and that was always the idea of the Constructors Championship, because we're a dirt league and have, or predominantly, we have a few guys that are really good at road racing, and the rest of us just do it for fun. So the Constructors Championship was intended to give you a second championship that anybody could compete for. So Rafferty still got a good chance to run away with the individual championship, but I think we'll keep him reeled in at least for the Constructors. So it should be fun. Hopefully, if you have not run in that division, come out. We were at Okoyama last week. We are at Summit Point this week, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
So that'll be, if you're watching this on Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, that race is tonight.
Yeah, and it's a great group of guys, and nobody again, it's like the other afternoon races. Nobody gets too wound up, and like we had the driving's getting better and better. Everybody's getting better. A lot of comments on that. And we had 30 some odd cars out there, and we could handle more because the track's big enough. But it was very cool. Somebody posted a picture, I think in the lounge, or I'm not sure where it got posted, of the starting grid, and I mean it was pretty impressive looking with all those cars out there. So, and we can still take on more. And with that being said, we've had again there's been some guys join with some higher I rating. So there's plenty of competition at the back where I spend my time, but there's competition up the front getting better too. And I think Rafferty was getting pushed a little bit at times. So I think you had a pretty good performance, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I finished 7th or 8th, but I will agree with you. I think especially with that was at least that number of cars is about what we want, because I didn't feel like I needed to be at the front to compete. So it used to, last season, if we had 12 or 14 guys out, you get to a point in the race where you're kind of by yourself for lap after lap. This race was not like that at all. Now, and no. It's a long track, right? So even at a shorter track, it's going to be even better. But from start to finish, I was battling with somebody. It wasn't. There were a couple times it was lap cars. But for the most part, I was battling for position lap after lap, running somebody down. Somebody's running me down. So it was a lot of fun. It was probably, out of all the Skippy races, probably the most fun. And I think everybody across the field would share that sentiment, because it was just everybody got to battle at some point, even if you were at the back or at the front or whatever the case was. And that's another thing we should mention. It is a fixed setup now. It was intended to be always kind of a fixed setup, but last season it was open where we shared setups. This season it's completely fixed, so everybody's got the exact same setup, so nobody has any kind of practice time advantage, at least in setting up the car.
Yeah, and a couple other things too about that is the back enders are getting better at giving way. So you're not having as many issues like that with the leaders coming on, and there's a long practice. It's almost an hour of practice, so it gives everybody a chance. And I seriously, like for the back runner guys, they can turn the driving line on, which you don't need to have it on for the race, but for practice, it really gives you. If you're new to a track, I always put it on, because I start to figure out where the braking points are and stuff, and where the spots are on the track, and then I can turn it off later, because now I can associate it with structures or whatever. But it certainly helps. It's a bit of a quick learn on a new track.
Yeah, it's a good place to start. I think you'll find that at least at some tracks that it's not perfect, There might be some spots where you want to enter a corner, and it depends on the car a little bit too, where you want to enter the corner a little bit wider and exit lower. You'll find where it's not that it's wrong, but maybe not the ideal line for the whatever car you're at, whatever car you're in.
Well, I find,
but it's a good way to get started.
Yep, and then the other one is in practice, and somebody like Rafferty or Barker or somebody passes you, you follow them for a few laps. Well, keep up as best you can, but at least while they're visually ahead of you, see where they're entering and getting their braking points and stuff, and that really helps. So,
for sure.
That's really coming along well. We got a big announcement to make that we'll release after the podcast. It'll be heard here first. So, do you want to start into that, or?
Yeah. So Roger and I have been talking, and it's always the question of what we do during week 13, right? So that's we always manage to have a good time, and I'm sure we'll still run some of those fun races. But we wanted to put something on the schedule that had a little bit more meaning, that we could promote and get some guys out that usually take that week off too. So what we've decided to do is form the G-Force Racing League, and I called it the Race of Champions, but maybe that's not the ideal name for it because it isn't just one race. It will be 3 races across the next week 13 on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I think we're still trying to nail down cars and tracks, but it'll be multidiscipline between asphalt and dirt, different kinds of cars, and the people that will be eligible will be anybody from our this winter season that win a race in any division. Correct? Is that
that's correct?
Accurate?
So I've already got the list going. So everybody that wins one race will be entered in this Race of Champions series or whatever we're going to call it here. And it'll be like Presta said, it'll be 3 different disciplines, none that we do normally, and we'll be trying to keep it at free content. So we want to keep the eligibility up, and it'll be your best 2 of 3. So you do have a drop race. And what we're going to do is we will announce those tracks and cars 24 hours before those races. So only Preston and I will know. Nobody else will know where we're going. And we will put those races up and announce what it is 24 hours. So as soon as one race is over, we'll announce where it's going to be the next night, car and track. So everybody is, and they'll be fixed. I think, some of this may change, but, this is sort of fresh out of the box. But that's the plan, is it will be fixed setups, and it'll be, disciplines that nobody's used to. So everybody's kind of on the same playing field. It kind of goes back to the old IROC series, where everybody's in the same car and not their normal discipline. So it should be. I think it should be a cool way to spend week 13, and because we finish the season on the Monday, typically the download comes on Tuesday. This year Wednesday, so we'll be running this on those nights. So at 9:00, and also, so we're also looking to broadcast those, but we need some sponsorship for that. So if anybody's would like to step up and sponsor that Race Champion Series, contact us, and we'll promote the snot out of your business.
Yeah, for sure, and we'll work up. We got plenty of time too, so we can work up some shared promotional materials too. I'd be glad to do that.
Yeah. So it's that was something to kind of get excited about. So, the other one I want to mention too, and again, it will be probably released. I'll be starting to promote this the same time. Is we're doing a shift of, and I might have mentioned this last week. We're doing a shift of all the open series. So right now we have the elite qualifiers. These are, separate leagues. We have G-Force Outlaws, which is our original 2000 I rating and under. And then we have, we have the dirt series, we have the street stocks, we have midgets, we have dirt modifieds, and we have pro late models. Those are 4 separate leagues right now, and we're going to be condensing those into one division. So what I've basically done is renamed the qualifier, the Elite Qualifier League, which last season was called the Gauntlet League, and now it's being renamed GeForce Unlimited. So that way you just, and we picked that because most people are already in that one. But if you are in street stock or you're in dirt modified or pro lates, you need to make sure that you're part of that league, because that's where all races will be scheduled out of that. So then we only need to maintain car numbers in one division and not in 3 or 4 divisions. So it's going to make the back end management a whole lot simpler. So
and it'll make it simpler for the drivers too. I mean, it really does help.
Yep, for sure. And another thing that we'll be releasing very shortly is a new form. So it'll be a driver profile form. We have two that we're working on right now, Bill Calder and I. One is for new applicants, so there's more information on that one. And that's the other thing too, is going forward after January 1st, it'll be application only. So you don't apply to the GeForce League in iRacing. You will apply to on our webpage and fill out a form, and that way it's easier to control who's on the track and make sure numbers are assigned and people are running the regular numbers. So but we also have another form for all the guys that are in the league now that never did a profile, or even if you did a profile. And this is to help the announcers. So it's going to give them the spreadsheet with, number, driver name, nickname, where you're from, age, if you're okay with that, and your sponsors, so that your sponsors can get more attention. When they're giving the lineup, reading out the lineups on the broadcast, your sponsors will be getting, your personal sponsor on your car will be your primary ones will get attention. So that's a form that's coming in. I really encourage everybody to fill that out, because it'll just make the broadcast even more complete. That you'll know, okay, here's this driver and here's where he's from, sponsored by this and this or whatever. So it's just more information for the broadcasters. So that's all coming down the pipe.
Yeah, and it's even for the guys that have done that before. If you have, and it might be on the website already, go back and read yours and see if it's still up to date. Because I can tell you, we were talking about this the other day, and I just happened to go check mine just to see what was there, because I couldn't remember. And the information I put there is out of date. I had information about my rig, which is completely changed since then, and it says I have an almost 1-year-old and I've got an over 2-year-old now. So things change, so you want to update that occasionally anyway. So having a form to do that will make it a lot easier.
Yeah, because that's where I got all my the age statistics was from that. So it might be 39, because a lot of those guys were like, that was over a year ago, almost 2 years ago. So that's a good point. When you go through those profiles, there's a lot of bit of out of date material. So
for sure.
Anyhow, so that's coming. What else we got to talk about, buddy?
I was just gonna say, I feel like we get into the groove of things, but we've got new announcements every single week. I feel like every week we've got something new going on. It's pretty cool, and some of them, might seem minor, but they make a big difference, like you're saying, on the back end. So it's good stuff. Good stuff. So I don't have a whole lot else. I think we're probably pushing the hour limit, but I did. So I had a kind of embarrassing thing happen, and I intentionally waited to the end of the show. So if you don't want to hear it, you can cut us now if you want. So Penny Lee and I are sitting on the couch today, and I was just scrolling Facebook, and I saw the third post about Happy Christmas, Adam. And I'm like, I don't know.
You blanked out for a sec. What did you say there?
It said Happy Christmas, Adam. And I didn't know who Adam, like what they were talking about Adam. I didn't know if they were addressing somebody they knew. But I saw like 3 of them, including one from my mother. And I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. Well, she at least explained hers a little bit, that Adam came before Eve. And I was like, I don't have any idea what this is talking about. Well, luckily Penny Lee straightened me out. Because tomorrow, well, or 3 days ago if you're watching this on Sunday, is Christmas Eve. So Wednesday is Christmas Adam. But you had to be there. But I felt like an absolute idiot, which I guess you didn't understand it either. So maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just a stupid joke, and people should stop sharing it.
I think
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
I felt like an idiot because I felt like I should have gotten it, but now I'm not so sure. But anyway.
No, don't feel bad. I had no clue what you were talking about.
Yeah. All right. Well, so we're about 3-4 days away from 2021.
Let's bring it on, buddy.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get out of this year.
No more. Yeah. Well, you say that, but we need some assurances that 2021 is going to be better.
No, you know what? Seriously, things are looking good. You know, the vaccines are coming out. We're going to get through this damn thing and have a chance to celebrate, maybe get together. Which reminds me, we got another big announcement coming down the pipe somewhere.
You can't
that's
share
a
that
few
one
months
yet.
off.
That might be a week.
Off, but we got
week 13.
We got a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, week 13 or somewhere. We got a big one coming.
I know. I'm itching.
Anyway.
I'm itching to share that one. That's going to be.
Yep, for sure. So we'll build for that one.
Maybe we had to do that show live or something.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
But anyways, no, I think there's lots. I think we've turned a corner here. We've all been challenged a bit this season this year for sure, and it'll be great to get back out. I need to get back to that pool because it's been very, very nasty to me. So anyways, we'll get through this. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and but in the meantime, the league is just it's rocking and rolling, and it's just great. And one last thing, we could use some more admins. So if anybody would like to come out and be an official in a lower division with no stress, please volunteer because we're burning out the ones we got. So we never ever want to have a race that doesn't have a live voice there. So
well, and I will say for anybody that's not done it before, it used to be more challenging when we were having, you're having to decide if somebody got a black flag clear or a wave around or whatever. Those things are gone now, and I think just to the betterment of the racing quality anyway. But it's much easier now. It's pretty laid back. If you're comfortable, just kind of guiding people to the green flag, it's very easy and quite frankly a lot of fun. Kevin Fry will be the first to tell you he has fun doing it, and he's fun to listen to.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't feel intimidated like it's a big job. It's just you're really taking about an hour just to kind of assist a little bit. It's not a long list. You got your list of penalties to read off at the beginning, and that's about it. So it's not too big a deal.
And there's always other guys in the room probably to help. There's usually more admin. They just want to race. They don't. Guys don't want to race in admin. That's not fun.
Yeah.
So
and that's one of the reasons Roger's calling for more is because between Andy and Kevin and Roger, usually just about every race one of them is in that race for the most part. That and Kyle Parker, because Kyle's in a bunch too. But,
and John Hine.
Yep. So really, it's a bunch of guys that are always there. But what we try to, like Roger's saying, it's hard to admin a race and race at the same time. It can be done, but we try to avoid it as often as we can. So that's really the call for the need there, because we have 19 divisions and don't have 19 admins, right? So not that we need 19, but we need to expand that a little bit.
Yeah. And I think that's about all I got.
Yeah, I think we'll
bring in this new year and
we'll
start out in a positive way.
Yeah, I fully believe that 2021 is going to be the year that Joe Backus comes on the podcast. We have, we do this once a week, so we've got 52 opportunities. So maybe it'll take the opportunity 50 or 51, but I think we can get it done.
Well, and 90% of the time we record these on Wednesday nights. Joe's beef this week was, you guys I never know when it's going to be. But, if you just showed up on a Wednesday night, planned on it, we're probably going to be here,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean,
so, yeah, hopefully we get to see him, before he turns 60 or something.
Yeah, hopefully so. I mean, that's the thing. If you want to come up with an excuse, you can always come up with an excuse. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if Joe will nut up and come on the podcast. But until then, we appreciate everybody watching. Hope everybody again had a very Merry Christmas, a good Boxing Day. Roger never explained to me what that was, so we'll have to do that at another point. And other than that, we'll see you next year for the cliche joke there. Thanks, guys.
And you just froze up.
No, I didn't.
No, he didn't.
Huh?
Not on mine.
Oh.
What's up, everybody? This is episode 16 of the Pitside Podcast. I'm here with my good friend Roger Craig. Tonight we're going to talk to G-Force Racing driver Connor Ross. We're going to